What's up, everyone? GiantOpinions. Some breaking MLB news. The Mets have just acquired Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco in exchange for Ahmed Rosario, Andres Gimenez, Isaiah Greene, and Josh Wolf. This is huge news. We knew all along in this offseason that Lindor would be traded, and the Mets were rumored to be one of the teams interested. Now, let's talk about the main guy, Francisco Lindor. He's a top 10 player in the MLB. There's nothing else to it. This guy is the best shortstop in baseball, and he provides a lot of things to your baseball team. Now, for the Mets, I think it's perfect because the Mets are trying to turn around their culture that's been pretty bad for many years, and they're doing that by adding, first of all, a superstar name to get the fans hyped up. Steve Cohen wants to excite the fans. He wants to put out a good product, and getting Lindor does do that. Second of all, Francisco Lindor is a leader. He's vocal. That's something the Mets need. They haven't really had a vocal leader just speaking out every day, rallying the team, and keeping them together. That provides a lot of value. And then, obviously, at the plate, Francisco Lindor is a guy who can get on base if he's not getting base hits. He can get base hits, and he can hit the long ball. He doesn't really strike out as much. His walk-to-strikeout ratio is very good, and he's a very nice fielder, too. He has Gold Glove caliber defense. And that's why he's the best shortstop in baseball, for all of those reasons. So, based on that alone, I love the Francisco Lindor to the Mets. Now, Carlos Carrasco is a guy who is a nice 3 starter. His ERA hovers around the mid-3s, like 3.5 ERA. That's kind of where it's at right there. And he'll get you innings. He's not real, or he was more of a strikeout guy earlier in his career, mainly 2017. That was his best year, but right now, he's more of a game manager. He'll get you innings, and he won't give up that many base hits. But the knock on him is his contract. The Mets are going to have to pay him around $12 million a year up until 2023. Then they can buy out his contract. But I think he's a nice piece behind Jacob deGrom and Syndergaard, and he will be the number 3 starter for the Mets. Now, for the Indians, bear with me, Indians fans. I know you got rid of Lindor, and Carrasco's okay, but listen up. You got some okay people in return. First off, let's just knock Ahmed Rosario out of the way. Now, Rosario was a highly regarded prospect at one point in his prospect career, and he hasn't really panned out since, but I will say, in 2019, he took huge strides forward. He was swinging the bat very nicely. He had around 170 base hits, and his average was in the 280s. That's very good, but the problem with Ahmed Rosario is his lack of play discipline. He strikes out a lot, and that needs to be worked on, and his fielding is subpar at best. So he's still very young. I think he's only 25, so not all hope is lost with Ahmed Rosario, and he was a top 100 prospect at a point in time. So Indians fans, you could turn his career around, trust me. So I wouldn't give up hope on him. The next guy, we have Andres Jimenez. He was a rookie this past season, and he really stepped onto the scene in a nice way. He batted for a solid average around 270. He had a 1.4 WAR, which was very good in the shortened season. And another thing that's valuable with Andres Jimenez is he can play all over the infield. He played at third base, he played at short and second base, and that always provides value to a baseball team. And Andres Jimenez is very young. I think he's only 22, so you got a lot to work with Andres Gimenez, and I like that piece. Now, he's not going to hit home runs like Lindor or anything, but you don't need to hit home runs to be good in the MLB. Let's just be honest. You really don't. But the next guy, this is the guy I think is the best piece in the deal. I think he could very well be one of the Indians' most valuable players come a few years when he does get called up, and that is Josh Wolf, right-handed pitcher. He was drafted in the 2019 second-round draft, and I was looking at his MLB prospects profile, and scouts love this guy. Let's just be honest. Scouts love him. The one knock on him is his changeup is not the best, and it could be worked on. It can be better, but they love his fastball. It was topping at 97 in the winter leagues, I think, and his fastball is nice. He has control. That's something that's underrated in pitchers, is being able to throw where you want to throw, and he can do that anywhere in the strike zone. You can go look him up on MLB prospects and you'll see what they say about him. They love him. And he's young, but he's expected to be called up in 2023, so it's going to be a little bit until then. But the Indians aren't really going to go compete in that time frame, so it's not the worst thing, and you definitely do not want to rush him up. You want to make sure once he comes to the MLB, he's ready. So I like that piece for the Indians, and he's going to be a guy to watch for, and if you hear his name later on, come a few years, don't be surprised, and it came in this Lindor trade. So super high on him. Indians fans, I would be excited for him to come up when he does. Now, the last guy in the deal is Greene. Greene is an outfielder prospect, and he's the 10th ranked prospect in the Mets system, and he's known for his speed. This guy is a speed demon, and scouts like him too. But the one problem with him is his swing is a little bit funky, and it can be cleaned up. On MLB Prospects, they said if he tweaks his swing and fixes it, he could see a lot more power from Greene, and that's something that you want to hear, because Greene right now, he's not known for hitting home runs, and he's kind of just a base hit, get on base, steal bases kind of guy. But if he can tweak his swing and you add the home run to his game, he will be a lot better and a very nice piece for the Indians. I could very well see him being a starter if he works on his mechanics. And he's good in the field too. He's very young. He was drafted last year too, or this year, excuse me, in the compensatory draft, which they got for Zach Wheeler leaving and going to Philly. So Green's not bad either. He's very young. He's expected to get called up in 2024 though, so it is going to be a little bit of time. But be patient. That's the thing, Indians fans. Be patient. You're really never going to win anything this year or next year. And your owner was not going to keep Lindor. I don't know why he didn't want to pay him, but he's not. Now let's just talk about who won the trade. Right now, in this time and day, the Mets won the trade. You're getting a top 10 player in the MLB in Francisco Lindor. He brings a lot to the plate, literally. But he's also great in the field, and most importantly is he's a team leader. Something the Mets need. They need a vocal guy who will keep the guys together when they're on losing skids. It's something that they did not have in 2019 at all, and not really in 2020 either. So I love Lindor. He's the superstar that the Mets said they were going to go get. And they might still add George Springer or Trevor Bauer, but I think it's more unlikely now. Anyways, the Mets are also getting Carlos Carrasco, he's solid. Let's just face it, he's a solid pitcher, and he's going to fit very nice as the 3-starter in New York. But it's not to say the Indians lost the trade. Right now, obviously, they're in a worse state than the Mets, so there is that to factor in. But pump the brakes on this, Indians fans. I know it's been rough, but things will get turned around for you. Trust the process and believe in these young prospects, because that's the thing you can do to help. Is just don't be toxic, don't be all of that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching so much if you stuck it this far in the video. And check out my other 2 channels. One of them is a Jets channel. I don't know why I can't find it. Yeah, right there. And the other one, I'm going to be uploading a pretty professional video too. So if you want to see that, it's going to be fun. I'll link both in the description down below. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.